Nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
They'll stay on the ground with Connor again. Taking it right down Broadway. From you there in Orlando as we come to you from the European home of the NFL, London, England. Coming up, another edition of the NFL International Series, and it should be a good one between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Rams. Along with Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin, and Charles, you look at this Rams team as they enter play. They come in playing pretty good football, winners of 4 of their last 6 games.
And they looked awfully good last week and came away with a 2-touchdown victory. They did have a few reasons for concern defensively, but all in all, they'll take a repeat here if they could get it.
Meanwhile, for the Bengals here, they're in a real groove of late, winners of 5 of their last 6 games.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for checking out my new Madden 20 video. I had to throw that clip in the very beginning because that was probably the most amazing run I've seen from a CPU running back, and that's what I've been able to achieve with this new slider set. So what I'm doing, again, is I'm kind of going with a different way of approaching the video to get you guys interested in what I have to offer. And I'm doing it basically the same way that I did my most recent 2K video, which is I'm going to show you some highlights of some things that I think people will appreciate, such as pass rush, pass coverage, and then a whole lot of things from the CPU, because that's been the biggest issue with finding the right balance in Madden as far as difficulty. So there's a bunch of clips here that you guys can check out. I'm really not going to say anything because they're pretty self-explanatory. You're going to see some great pass rushes. You're going to see some good throws from CPU where they're throwing the ball downfield, some good runs. And then at the end of the clips, we're going to go ahead and I'll actually go in and do a full slider breakdown for you guys. I'll show everything you need to do to get this set up and talk to you a little bit more about why this plays the way it does and why this is playing so good. And I've had the most fun playing Madden with this setup right now than I've had probably since PS3 days. So stay tuned to the end of the video and we'll get more into it. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed those clips. If you actually watched some of you might have just went ahead and skipped to the end. That's fine. I just wanted to show off how good this is playing on pro difficulty. But if you're here, if you made it to this point, that means you're going to try it out anyway, and you'll find out for yourself very soon. So if you've never used my slider set before, make sure you do a profile delete, and at the main screen, the very first one, when it asks you preferred difficulty, set it to expert. And then game style is simulation. Those are very important. If you're unsure, do a profile delete just to make sure you get those settings right. It's very important to gameplay. Then get through the stupid Pro Bowl, quit out of it and get back into the main menu where we can go ahead and enter in a lot of the important aspects here in the main menu. So we'll go ahead and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So inside your settings, the first thing we're going to go to is game options, and we're just going to verify that the skill level is on all Madden and the game style is on simulation. These are very important for the main menu. Quarter length also needs to be at 10 minutes, and accelerate clock needs to be off, and this will get you the correct amount of plays per team relative to how NFL is. Gameplay helpers. Okay, auto flip defensive play call needs to be off. Ball hawk on. Heat seeker off. Switch assist on. Now, getting to the helpers here, I do implement a no user catch rule on offense or defense. And the reason being is that it takes a lot of the ratings out of play, and that's what Madden's based on. And the user gets too much of an advantage. So, do not user catch on offense or defense. Let it play out. You will still get big time catches depending on the rating and the scenario. You'll also get interceptions depending on the player and the scenario. Do not user on either side of the football. It gives you an advantage. We don't want that. Next, you can see the bottom here. Injuries 5, fatigue 100, and player speed parity scale at 45. Next, we're going to go over to penalties, and this one's super easy. You are going to max them all out. It's that easy. Player skill also super easy. You're going to zero them all out, but make sure you leave special teams alone. Just do the top part of the player skills. CPU is the exact same as player. Zero out everything up top, but leave special teams alone. Leave them at the default of 50. Visual feedback. Now, this doesn't 100% impact gameplay, but because we do want a clean field that we're looking at, we're going to turn everything off, okay? Number one, there's a no user catch rule, so we don't need to have the catch assist on there. And tackling, assist, all that, it just gives you boosts, okay? We don't need any boosts as a user. We're going for sim gameplay. We need to be able to make mistakes too. So if we're constantly being told what buttons to press, or having a vision cone for tackling and stuff like that, it's going to be less likely we're making mistakes. So just turn all that stuff off. Volume control, again, this isn't necessary, but I did actually spend some time tweaking these, and I actually think that these are phenomenal. So I'm just sharing them with you as a courtesy. I love the volume settings that I have. You're more than welcome to give them a try. If you do and you appreciate them, let me know. Drop a comment. So once we finished here inside the settings, there's one more thing we got to do on main menu, and that is the auto subs. So for the offensive aspect of it, we're only touching the quarterback, and we're changing his sub out from 60 down to 40. He's the only one on offense we're touching, and make sure that you do that. On defense, we're adjusting 3 different player positions. We're doing defensive tackle, defensive end, and linebacker, and they are all being dropped from 60 to 40 for the sub out as well. Very important to gameplay. Finish everything up here and either load into your existing franchise or create a new one. Either way, these will work. I'll go ahead and I'll show you how we can get this, the next steps into your franchise. Okay, so now you're in your franchise. Go over to settings, and in league settings, you're going to change the skill level down to pro. Game style still stays on simulation. Everything should be pretty basic here. Everything needs to be the same as the main menu for the most part, other than that skill level. Okay, that needs to be dropped down. Team settings right there. I show you what I use. I would recommend using the same thing. Those tutorial pop-ups get super annoying, and they're not needed. So once you get it changed down to the pro difficulty, then we're actually going to do the import of sliders. So you're going to do this after every single game, by the way. If you don't, it won't play properly. But what you're going to do is you're going to just hit the square reset. You're going to hit triangle to import from the main menu. And you're going to set the sliders up you see right here. I'm obviously not going to read them all off. That's kind of pointless. You can either pause the screen right now, or you can click on the link on Operation Sports and find them on there. But basically the theory behind this is the computer plays well. The issue is that the user gets a lot of boosts. And so my theory was, if everything's at default 50, let's cut the user to 25. We'll cut it in half, get rid of those boosts, and then adjust it as needed. So there's a few adjustments made to the user based off of the 25 mark that I'm using, whereas the CPU is pretty much able to stay at 50 for everything other than user run blocking and fumbles to help the running backs run a little bit more. So penalties, this is huge. Kick, catch interference, off. Roughing the kicker, off. Running the kicker, running into the kicker, off. Now, intentional grounding, there's been a lot of people talking about that. I've been back and forth on it too. I've decided I needed to have it on because even though it's off, the quarterbacks will spread the ball around a little bit more. The issue is that they stand and they'll take a lot of coverage sacks, and we don't want that. So leave it on. I do recommend using XP sliders. I use T-Dog sliders. He has a link on Operation Sports. It's kind of buried, so if you actually click on my link to my slider thread, I have a link to his sliders in my thread. Makes it super easy for you. Or you can just pause the screen right now and import everything you see here. Either way, these are must-haves for you, especially for if you want to get more than one season in. Next, you're going to go over to your coach, and we got to do auto subs inside your franchise too. And they're the exact same as they are on the main menu. Now, the huge thing is you need to make sure that when you're finished, you hit accept and continue down the bottom left. If you just hit circle to back out, it won't warn you that anything's unsaved, and you will think that you've made the changes and they're actually not sticking. So make sure you go ahead and do that. The last thing you need to do is before each game, whoever you're playing, and for example, when I did this video, my team that I was about to play was the Steelers. So just go over to the team you're about to play, go to their quarterback, and you're going to click on View Player Card, and you're going to edit the player, okay? This is extremely important to get the quarterbacks to not just dink and dunk and drive the ball downfield. I spent a lot of time testing this, and this is what I've decided is the cause behind it. Forces passes, that trait needs to be unbalanced in order for quarterbacks of the CPU to shoot the ball down the field, to take deeper passes. Not always 50, 60-yard passes, but even 25, 30 yards. They will not push the ball down the field if it's on conservative or ideal. It has to be unbalanced. I've also been changing all the quarterback styles to scrambler to help them move around in the pocket, but if they're not a scrambling archetype, they won't take off. Anyways, this is a slider setup. It's playing amazing right now. I hope you guys check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Please give me any feedback and thoughts on the video, and stay tuned.